Pro Wrestling Weekly. For over 20 years, the revolutionary force in sports entertainment radio talk.
Is cooking.
WBCB presents Pro Wrestling Weekly,
the longest-running pro wrestling radio talk show in the history of terrestrial radio.
And he's obviously Michael Cole.
Call in with a question or comment at 215-949-3232 or 888-922-2149.
You really do sound like a
grizzled old vet. Is that what you were going with there?
Yes.
To not get you in trouble?
Oh, I'll get in trouble at some point. Believe me, I'll do something.
Well, to keep you out of trouble in this case, at least.
And now, here are your hosts of Pro Wrestling Weekly, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Ooh, I'm getting good at this radio thing.
Yeah. It only took you 5.5 years.
I'm not good at it yet. I'm starting.
Yeah.
Only slightly.
Slowest escalator upward.
Shut up!
There's the sound of the bell, and we are set to go. This is Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, flying solo this week as Mitch is still under the weather, and I'm getting a little concerned. Just a little bit. Okay, more than a little bit, but I mean, he did say that he was starting to get better, and then things kind of took a little bit of a turn for the worse. Twitch, meanwhile, is actually, he is, as he put it to me not too long ago, double-shotting today, meaning that he is wrestling for not one but two different events. As he is scheduled in about an hour and a half from now, he will be down in Woodbury, New Jersey, wrestling for Cosplay Pro Wrestling, or CPW, as part of the South Jersey Geek Fest, which I was actually planning on attending. It was good of him to tell me that he was going to be involved in it like a few days before. Thanks, Twitch. There we go. Now I know where to mark that. Yes, but no, that should be a good time. And then both of us later tonight will be at the Monster Factory for the MFPW as a gear up to Turkey Slam coming up 2 weeks from tonight. Also, a programming note, this will be the last that you'll be hearing of me for a couple of weeks as I leave late next week for a much-needed vacation. So I thought about what we're going to have instead as kind of a little bit of a way to say to Ted Efaw, the boss here and also the host of Country Roads.
I thank you very much!
Yeah, in order to say that here, love that Vince clip. But yes, we're going to essentially extend the Country Roads for the next 2 weeks and have it start at high noon for a little bit longer, more scenic Country Road. So Ted Efaw, he'll be with you right at noon next week and the following week, and then Pro Wrestling Weekly shall return, make its triumphant return on Saturday, November 16th. So there'll be a lot to talk about once I get back. Most notably, well, by that point we'll have long since had to deal with what'll be coming up this coming Thursday, and that's what we've affectionately here called Brown Jewel. Yes, the pay-per-view for WWE, they're going back for the cash grab at Saudi Arabia, so that's a thing that's happening, and they added a couple of more matches to it. We'll give the whole card, and I can't say that I'm giving any predictions certain to go wrong for it, just because, yeah, it's a thing. I mean, because it has to be here. But yes. It'll definitely be an event, I suppose, that we'll get into. Yeah, we'll give you all that going on, plus some news about as much as we've had a lot of different wrestling companies kind of making their way in. Apparently, there's room for one more. It's like Helen Reddy sang in Pete's Dragon. There's room for everyone in this world. Everyone makes some room. You know, that's what's going on here. So we'll talk a little bit about that. Also, an interesting troll post, I guess. At least I'm calling it a troll post. I don't know how much validity there is to it, especially given the source, but you gotta love when trolling occurs to just kind of shake up the masses. Also, a big team noted to announce in terms of AEW as far as the tag team tournament is concerned. We'll go to the Wednesday Night Wars, also a little bit of a scheduling thing. We'll even get into a little MMA, but well, you know what? We'll save that for the second segment. Going to talk a little video games as well, since this is since I'm kind of in that geek fest kind of mind, and boy, was the internet. Let's just say they were less than thrilled. But first, we'll go ahead and get this out of the way early. We'll talk up what's going to be going on this Thursday on Brown Jewel. So, it is set finally. Team Hogan versus Team Flair in the 10-man tag team match. It's going to be Roman Reigns captaining the team of Rusev, Ricochet, Ali, and Shorty G, against Team Flair, comprising of Captain Randy Orton, King Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura, Bobby Lashley, and Drew McIntyre. And that is in a 10-man tag team match. Which, it's great that they're doing a 5-on-5. I don't believe it's an elimination match, but at least not that I recall. I'm quickly looking up just to confirm. No, but it's nice to see that they're doing a 5-on-5 match here in right in the fall. It's something that's kind of a new concept that apparently hasn't been done before. Oh yeah, that's right. There's the whole Survivor Series thing that's coming up, a few weeks after. 3.5 weeks after. Whoops. But yeah, they're doing it nonetheless. So I can only imagine. I guess the hype for Survivor Series will start right after the Saudi event here. But also you've got has been hyped because we want to be a little bit more sportsy, little more sports entertainment, a little less wrestling. We've got Tyson Fury, the boxing heavyweight champion, taking on Braun Strowman in a singles match. Curious to see how that'll go, but not curious enough to watch the event during the vacation. Then, of course, there is Brock Lesnar defending the WWE Championship against Cain Velasquez, the same man who defeated Lesnar some 9 years ago for the UFC Heavyweight Championship. So, bringing a little octagon action into the squared circle. So we'll see how that goes here. Yeah, it was it was 9 years ago this past Wednesday, October 23rd, 2010, that Lesnar lost the title by TKO in just a little over 4 minutes in that match in round one. So, yeah, I can see why a rematch of that didn't happen. Well, I think that was also around the time that some of the other stuff with Brock kind of came into the foray. But yes, going back to the event here, there's also Mansoor, who is pretty much a mainstay whenever there is a Saudi Arabian pay-per-view event. He had won the 51-man battle royal at the Saudi Shoehorn a little bit earlier this year. So, yeah, bringing him back out, and this time he's got the task of facing none other than Cesaro. Then there is a 9-team tag team turmoil match for the WWE World Cup. Not to be confused with the whole best in the world thing with Shane McMahon. But you've got the New Day, which looks to be Big E and Kofi Kingston, considering that Xavier Woods is injured, taking on the Viking Raiders, Eric and Ivar, against Heavy Machinery, Otis and Tucker, Lucha House Party, some combination of Lince Dorado, Grand Metalik, or Kalisto. Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder are in it, as are the Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder, as are the OC's Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson, Dolph Ziggler and Robert Roode, the former Raw Tag Team Champions, and finally, the B Team, Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas. Nice to see they're getting a spot in here. The other matches, we've got Seth Rollins defending the Universal Championship against The Fiend Bray Wyatt. It is a Falls Count Anywhere match, and recently added into the fray based off of all of the hullabaloo from Hell in a Cell, is they have determined that the match cannot be stopped for any reason. So no referee stoppage like there was at Hell in a Cell. So there must be a winner. Yeah, we'll see how all that goes here. As they made sure that Falls Count Anywhere match that can't be stopped for any reason. So we shall see how that goes. And then just added this week, we've got a 20-man battle royal where the winner will face AJ Styles for the United States Championship. No, not at Survivor Series, but later that night. So you figure the battle royal will probably open the show, and then somewhere near the mid to late portion of it, you would think that battle royal winner would face AJ Styles to at least get a little bit of time to rest and recover. Or it could be WWE, and they may go, hey, battle royal, and guess what? Here's your opponent, AJ Styles. I don't know, but there's all that, and they may announce another one or two more things. I don't think they can do as many backstage Halloween-type segments as they'd like to, because that part of the country, they are not a big fan of a lot of the representations that Halloween has. You know, ghosts and monsters and werewolves and all of the other haunting things that are part of Halloween. So I don't know if you'll be seeing a whole lot of that here, but we'll be seeing more of these things as long as this deal goes on as part of the 10-year partnership for all the stuff that they're doing for Saudi Vision 2030. Right, the less that I say about that, the better. Keeps me out of trouble that way. So a positive thing here for WWE is that they issued a press release earlier this week to tout their YouTube page reaching 50 million subscribers. Yeah, 50 million subscribers, quote, further cementing its position as one of the world's top channels on the platform. And the press release went on to say, with this historic milestone, WWE has eclipsed the global YouTube subscriber ranks of Justin Bieber, Dude Perfect, Ed Sheeran, and Taylor Swift. Yes, I had no idea what or who Dude Perfect was at first either, and I looked it up and gotta admit, kind of impressive. It's the best way I can describe it is it's they basically took Mr. Perfect's vignettes from back in the day and just put it up to a whole different level. As far as just, I mean, it's more than just, bowling and making strikes and things like that. They do, or hitting home runs. They've, oh my gosh, I don't even know where to begin with it. There was a thing that they did of unexpected trick shots where, you see them go to bowl a strike, but it actually bounces off some, I guess they're pins made out of cement, and it ricochets off of them and rolls into another set of pins about 20 feet away, and they make a strike from that. That's just one example of something that they did. Or, oh goodness, there was, while they were driving, they bounced. Oh my gosh, this one I didn't see. Yeah, kind of driving in fairly slow motion, but there was a truck that was passing by that had a trampoline on it, so they threw the basketball against the trampoline, and it bounced behind them to where there was a waiting basket, and it swished. Well, I shouldn't say swished. It bounced off the backboard and up. But yeah, this is what they do. They just do various trick shots that are just out of this world. And yeah, they've got like 47 some odd million subscribers. Okay, as I'm saying it, I'm looking at a couple of different things here. Oh wow, so a soccer ball kick off the wall, off of the trampoline, off the crossbar of the soccer goal there. I mean, that's just some of the things that apparently this Dude Perfect is. And they have somehow been surpassed in subscribers by WWE. Yeah, I may end up getting caught up in some Dude Perfect this afternoon here. along with everything else. But yeah, enough about that here. So yeah, congrats to WWE for 50 million subscribers. Probably about 49,999,960 more than me or so, something along those lines. So they're doing something right. And I'm going to attempt to do some more right here as we're going to get into a rather lengthy gaming discussion on the other side. As, oh boy, I'm trying to keep things light and positive for WWE, but the internet, they did not. And we'll get more into that on the other side here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Chickies and Pete's, proud partner of the Philadelphia Eagles and official caterer of the Philadelphia Eagles Touchdown Club and Philadelphia Eagles Training Camp. Get your collectible Philadelphia Eagles glass only at Chickies and Pete's. Every Monday night, see different Eagles players in South Philly. Brandon Graham, Nelson Aguilar, Sidney Jones. Plus, Monday night starting at 6 p.m., $19.99 all-you-can-eat Chickies wings and crab fries. Get the real feel in-game experience at Chickies and Pete's. Don't forget, wager, then watch all the action at Chickies and Pete's casino locations at Parks Casino in Bensalem and at Tropicana on the Atlantic City Boardwalk. Chickies and Pete's. We love football. Click chickiesandpete's.com for all the details.
When an Eagles player gets hurt, the team takes care of him. When you get hurt, the attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will take care of you. They understand that a severe accident can be a life-altering event. You need a reliable teammate to fight for you. The attorneys at Begley, Carlin, and Mandio will get you great results. And if there's no recovery, there's no fee. Contact them today at 215-750-0110 for a free consultation. 215-750-0110 for a reliable ally that's on your side.
Join Paul Jolovitz and Tom Cordella every Monday night at 6 as they break down the upcoming Eagles matchup with the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show live from a nearby Parks Casino or Chickies and Pete's location. Paul, Tom, and a different Eagles guest will talk about the ins and outs of Philadelphia Eagles football. It's the Independence Blue Cross Monday Night Kickoff Show Monday night at 6 on 1490 WBCB 610 ESPN. Video stream live on WBCBsports.com and Facebook Live.
Avoid FOG. No, I'm not talking about the inclement weather, but fats, oil, and grease. Approximately 80% of grease-related sewer blockages and overflows occur in residential areas. That's because FOG clings to the inside of pipes, eventually causing a blockage. So never put fats, oil, and grease down the drain. This message from BCWSA, your utility partner for a safer environment. Learn more about what not to put down your drain online. BCWSA.net.
See, I just got the Luigi death stare from Fearon, so he might have to...
I didn't give you the Luigi death stare. That's not true.
You're breaking kayfabe.
Breaking cape. I'm going to break something else during this commercial.
There we go. That's what I like to see.
And now, more Pro Wrestling Weekly with your hosts, Fearon Derry and Lucas DeSangro.
Are we getting into that controversy again?
I know how it feels, and it's not fun.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, and that's all I got. Well, that and apparently a new addiction to Dude Perfect videos. Now, Lucas is currently in South Jersey at the South Jersey Geek Fest at the Woodbury Heights Community Center. He'll be wrestling there for CPW Cosplay Pro Wrestling. It's a convention in South Jersey bringing people together to celebrate their love share for everything geeky: comics, games, anime, action figures, toys, crafts, jewelry, music, artwork, wrestling, and much more. So certainly will be a lot of fun. There's a board game playing area. There's a Smash Brothers tournament. I am definitely looking forward to checking that out once the program concludes here. Yeah, there's been a lot of fun stuff. It's something about, I guess, that last Saturday in October that all the things seem to go on. I mean, there's this Geek Fest going on, lots of wrestling events, Halloween parties. Earlier this morning, I was at Langhorne Harvest Fest. I'm sipping my apple cider every chance I get here because yum apple cider. But something that wasn't quite as yum, at least in terms of the appetites of video game fans. Well, the WWE 2K20 video game. It was released this past Tuesday for Microsoft Windows, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. To say that it had negative reviews, yeah, that would be a bit of an understatement, to say the least. This is one of those instances where I think the collective video gaming and wrestling audience kind of all gave a collective whammy buzzer to it. Yeah, it was the first game in the series to be solely developed by Visual Concepts, which the irony in that is... well, there's definitely irony in that. While previous entries were co-developed by Ukes, and Ukes had opted to leave, and we see where the strength apparently came in. Critics had criticized the physics as well as the graphics, targeting, changing controls, and the large amount of glitches, most notably. Overall, in terms of a positive rating, it's ranging from 41 to 43%. Matt Fowler of IGN noting, quote, WWE 2K19, last year's game, looked like it stopped the downward tread for the series, but WWE 2K20 doubles back, breaks its ankle, and tumbles down the slope. Fundamental parts that felt totally fine in WWE 2K19 now feel clumsy. The impressive roster of 238 superstars is all but meaningless when a majority of them look like they crawled out of a PS2-era wrestling game. PlayStation 2 back in the early 2000s, like 2002 to 2004-ish, that time frame. And while 2K20's My Career mode offers a better wrestling story mode than most previous WWE 2K games, that's a low bar to clear. It's still saddled with bad progression and a plodding pace. This is a mess that 2K needs to clean up in a hurry, end quote. Now, glitches, oh, there were many. Some examples included vanishing faces, uncontrollably spinning wrestlers, and disappearing referees. One instance had shown Rey Mysterio's mask dissolving into his face from the video game here. Another had Becky Lynch with disembodied facial features. I don't know, maybe a positive spin, maybe it's a creepy exclusive here for the Halloween season? If it isn't, that might explain another visual error that was tweeted out, showing a wrestler suffering from an extremely lazy eye that droops past the wrestler's chin. This is all from this, I guess, apparently had passed, I don't know, some sort of muster in terms of video game releases, or was it hastily put together like E.T. the Extraterrestrial for the Atari back in '82, I think that was. Hard to say. But yeah, so there was a video shown of Charlotte Flair in the video game being flung around in circles around the ring. That's been viewed over 1 million times. It looks like something you'd see Curly do in a Three Stooges movie. Yeah, that whole bit. Another Twitter post showed Alexa Bliss, Carmella, and Kairi Sane bouncing violently against the ropes and canvas as the referee was literally absorbed into the ring. And this was a video game that was released, that people paid, in some cases for pre-releases and things, upwards of $90 or more. BBC.com reporting that a UK collector's edition of the game priced at £140, 140 British pounds. That included a collectible acrylic piece containing one of 3 possible SmackDown Legend autographs, and that apparently those were missing the signature. So another whoops type scenario here. There's quite a few of those, unfortunately. But yeah, that's... surprisingly, we haven't heard anything yet, as I would think that there would be some people being told. But nothing as of yet. At least not to not to my knowledge, anyway. And just for curiosity's sake, those wondering, oh, how much is 140 British pounds? It's just under $180 US. So, yeah, to get this autograph thing. Now, 2K Games hasn't exactly done a whole lot to right the ship as of yet, but WWE legend Edge, so he was one of the 3 legends as far as the autographs, he stepped up further. He tweeted out a guarantee that he will send a private message on Twitter to anyone missing his autograph and arrange to send them a replacement. Sports Illustrated's website, well, they also didn't have some kind things to say. They reported that WWE 2K20 is such a disaster that it might be the most entertaining installment of the series. So they're kind of flipping on the whole so bad it's good type scenario. I don't know. I think most people at this point, they're under this mindset.
Strange game. The only winning move is not to play.
Possibly. I don't know. Good thought, though, from Joshua from War Games. Also in there, people complaining about the Hell in a Cell finish between Seth Rollins and The Fiend Bray Wyatt. They can empathize with a clip of Money in the Bank, a Money in the Bank ladder match that was played on the video game that was won by pinfall. That's not a selectable feature. It's, you have to reach up and grab the briefcase, but apparently the game didn't really check for that, and somebody was just able to record a pin, and next thing you know, it switches to a camera shot of them standing atop the ladder holding the Money in the Bank briefcase. You can't make this stuff up. And then, of course, there was a clip of a wrestler being rolled into the ring who somehow pulled a Stretch Armstrong or Gumby type move, stretched their lower legs across the ring just to slide over to the outside by the announcer's table. So their legs for a brief moment were about 15 feet long or so, or 16 feet long. Yeah, to say the least, fans were frustrated with the game, and they were frustrated to a point where there was a trend on social media of hashtag fix WWE 2K20. The PlayStation, for their part, they were granting refunds for those requesting, stating that the game was broken or faulty. It's kind of hard how not to do so. Well, that's the thing. It's opposed to saying, well, I don't like the game. It's, you have to state it's broken or faulty, which, based on these examples and many more, yeah. Now, the WWE Games Twitter feed did issue a statement yesterday afternoon, and they tweeted out, quote, "We are listening closely to the feedback that's been shared regarding WWE 2K20 and are aware of the current concerns some players are reporting. We are working hard to investigate these concerns and address them as necessary. We expect to have an initial patch ready in the next 2 weeks with others to follow. Stay tuned to WWE Games social media channels for more information," end quote. So, yeah, there's a patch coming. One of quite a few. But man, that's they didn't do good here. It was anything but perfect here. It is not dude perfect, that's for sure. Oh gosh, I keep getting distracted by it here. There's oh my gosh. So hitting a football with a baseball bat off of a tee, hitting it 80 yards and intentionally hitting off of the bottom crossbar of the upright of on a football field. Just some of the quirkiness that they have on that. All right, I better shut it down here because I keep definitely getting distracted. Easy to do here, as I don't know. It's just part of my nature, I suppose. All right, so while we're on the absurd here, I guess I should also talk about this. Randy Orton. So he had made an interesting Instagram post early Monday morning that it seemed to be a potential teaser for All Elite Wrestling, maybe? But yes, he posted a photo of himself next to a sign that read Elite Level, and he wrote in the caption, "TikTok, TikTok." Obviously indicating that maybe he's making his way over to AEW, I guess, somewhere once the contract is out, apparently. Yeah, it's definitely been a fun little tease, or at least that's what he's been going to here. Yeah, now he also, in that picture, he had listed or tagged The Revival, Scott Dawson and Dash Wilder. He had also tagged Luke Harper, and for reasons unbeknownst to me, he also added Riddick Moss and Elias, but also made sure to tag Cody Rhodes as well as Chris Jericho in there. And Well, he had apparently... Well, I guess there was a little bit of potential doubling down on that here, as there was also a post by Dawson. It was a posting of a photo of himself with Wilder and Orton, and he had written, "What should have been, thank you, Randy, we'll see you down the road." And then Wilder replied, "What will be eventually." And then Orton replying to that exchange as well, simply writing 2020. So there's been a little bit of back and forth, this all occurring over the course of the past couple of days. And it's hard to say. I mean, some people are thinking, that, myself included, that Orton is simply trolling fans. Some are thinking he might be serious about possibly leaving WWE, or maybe he's using the post as a negotiation ploy, as he has noted in the past that his 10-year contract with WWE that he signed in 2010, well, that would elapse in early 2020, and he would be, after his non-compete clause is up, he would be eligible to wrestle elsewhere in June of 2020. So, and I mean, that comes from other notes, including Orton not being thrilled with being off of the Raw reunion a little while back. That going back to July of this year. So, who knows? With Orton, it's definitely hard to say. But also in a rather hilarious note, as far as the initial post, the TikTok post, Harper had replied, quote, "We get it, you're on a different floor than the rest of the boys." So that seems a little sassy. And well, Chris Jericho also had a response as well. He hilariously responded, "Send in a tape and some pics and I'll see what I can do," with a little wink face emoji. So, yeah, because Jericho, unfamiliar with this Randy Orton kid, this 39-year-old kid who who's suddenly hitting the wrestling scene at this point here. Now, to his credit, I mean, Orton in other interviews he had said that he had praised AEW after seeing their debut earlier this month, and well, he had said that he wanted to work with Sammy Guevara, who had wrestled Cody on that show. And he had noted, Cody and Sammy Guevara, that kid can do some things. I'd love to work with that kid. They had a great match. I thought opening the show with that match was a good idea and well received. So he has spoken highly of AEW. Yeah, here we go. This is the Twitter exchange here as I'm looking from late Thursday into Friday here. Dawson initially putting a picture of the Revival and Orton. "What should have been, thank you, Randy, we'll see you down the road." FTRKO, little note there. And then Dash chiming in, "What will be eventually." And yeah, Orton's reply was simply 2020. So who knows? Maybe it's trolling. Maybe it's a little bit of, well, if I tease this with WWE here, maybe they'll throw a boatload of money my way to keep me around for the foreseeable future. I'm kind of shrugging my shoulders at it, but it's I don't know. I think it's just Randy Orton being Randy Orton. If we haven't seen things like this of him over the course of the years of him trolling fans, it would probably seem more serious than it is. But I don't know. If it is him considering going to AEW, it'd be interesting to see. Although I think AEW is worried about bringing in too much former WWE talent. They don't want to go the same route that TNA did in kind of being the house for former WWE talent, and they've already got quite a few on the roster. So I don't know how much more of the percentage they want to include in that here. I mean, thinking about it here. So as far as former WWE guys, they've got obviously Chris Jericho. They've got Cody. They've got Dustin Rhodes, who's both in ring and a coach. I mean, they've got Jake Hager, and we'll have more on him in a little bit. I mean, they've got Jon Moxley, formerly Dean Ambrose. They've got, I mean, just looking at the main roster here, they've got Pac, formerly Neville. And they've got Shawn Spears, formerly Ty Dillinger. So I mean, that's a pretty good percentage there. And then, they've got Brandy Rhodes and Awesome Kong as, back when she was Karma there briefly. But, there's a couple of former women from the roster. And then Tully Blanchard, Earl Hebner, Jim Ross, Tony Schiavone, the ring announcer Justin Roberts. There's definitely a lot of WWE presence there, so I don't think they want to have too much more of that. They want to have their own identity, and they don't want to just, every time somebody's WWE contract's up, are they going to AEW? At least I hope that that's not what they're going for here. But one thing it is going for AEW is the Wednesday Night Wars, and we'll talk about that on the other side. Also, the AEW tag titles that are set to be determined this coming Wednesday. Plus, I did mention Jake Hager. We'll be getting into him as well. Plus, another kid kind of stepping into the wrestling sandbox here in the States, and we'll tell you who that is as well. All that and more here on Pro Wrestling Weekly on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com.
Hi, this is Dr. Lee Piccarello, inviting you to tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. to The Head Game, a must-listen show for athletes and coaches of all levels and ages. Mindful Athlete Training in Newtown, Pennsylvania is a mental circuit training program that prepares the athletes to perform at the highest level of today's game. Athletes get into the zone faster and stay there longer. Tune in every Friday morning at 8 a.m. right here on WBCB 1490 AM and throughout the world at WBCB1490.com.
Hi, this is Smiling Lou Powers, here to invite you to join us every Wednesday as we broadcast Sunshine Music Memories live from the Philadelphia Protestant Home in the Northeast. We'll be playing the music that you remember in a setting you will love. Philadelphia Protestant Home is located at 6500 Tabor Road in the Northeast, and I will be there live every Wednesday, 10 a.m. till noon. Come out and listen, dance, and make some new friends. Sunshine Music Memories live from the Philadelphia Protestant Home every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
All commentators heard on WBCB express their own views. Their opinions are not necessarily those of others on WBCB, including the staff and management.
Why? Why do we ignore the things that give us pause, that seem out of place, that don't feel right? The answer to why defines who we are. So if you see something, why do you say something?
I see safe for my friends.
For my community.
For my family.
For each other. Because all of this matters. We all have something worth protecting. So why do you see safe? Report suspicious activity to local authorities. If you see something, say something.
The cooler weather has its pest problems such as spiders, bed bugs, roaches, and mice. These problems can be fixed easily and inexpensively with termite proofing and pest control. Call now at 215-639-5455. That's 215-639-5455 for termite proofing and pest control of the Delaware Valley.
Pro Wrestling Weekly presents Today in Wrestling History, October 26. On this date in 1997, WCW held its Halloween Havoc pay-per-view. In the main event, Rowdy Roddy Piper defeated Hollywood Hogan by knockout in a steel cage match. On this date in 2002, WWE held its England-only Rebellion pay-per-view. In the main event, Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman defeated Edge in a handicap tag team match to retain Lesnar's WWE Championship. On this date in 2008, WWE held its Cyber Sunday pay-per-view. In the main event, Batista pinned Chris Jericho to win the World Heavyweight Championship. This has been Today in Wrestling History, October 26.
Hi, this is Jim Cornette, and you're listening to Pro Wrestling Weekly with Fearon Derry on 1490 WBCB.
Welcome back to Pro Wrestling Weekly here on 1490 WBCB and online at WBCB1490.com. Fearon Derry here with you, flying solo. Twitch is currently in Woodbury, New Jersey, Woodbury Heights, New Jersey, in fact, for the South Jersey Geek Fest. He'll be wrestling for CPW, Cosplay Pro Wrestling, this afternoon, and then he'll be joining me down in Paulsboro for the Monster Factory, the MFPW, later tonight. He is double-shotting, as he calls it. I think of it as a completely different thing, but yeah, that's... yeah, I don't know. I could not quite think of a good way to sneak that in, so what can I say? Awkward. Exactly. No, it's something a little bit better than, I don't know, something a little bit better than Jericho's ever so popular statement from a month or so ago.
A little bit of the bubbly.
Yes, but moving away from that, at least for the moment here, but sticking with AEW, Week 4 of the Wednesday Night Wars, it does go to AEW again, so 4-0 in the 4 weeks here, but I don't know, when does one become concerned that the numbers, they've started to dwindle little by little each week? I mean, not nearly as steep of a fall off, but, well, let me give you the numbers here. AEW Dynamite, they produced 963,000 viewers on TNT, finishing 4th in the cable ratings in the 18 to 49 demographic. NXT on USA Network, well, they produced only 698,000 viewers, 21st in that same demographic, and down to AEW by about 265,000 viewers. Now, the numbers, they fell slightly for both companies. AEW lost 51,000 viewers to NXT's 14,000. How much of that is just, okay, I've seen enough? How much of it is, oh, yeah, World Series, because there was that going on. That led TV viewership, the World Series game, with 11.925 million people on Fox, and even the NBA on ESPN, that had almost 1.7 million watchers. So, I don't know. I mean, is this another one of those things, kind of how WWE from September to December will dismiss lower ratings on Raw because people are watching Monday Night Football? And maybe they figure it's short-lived considering that the World Series won't be going on too much longer. I mean, I don't believe, and I'm looking up the schedule as we speak here, but I don't think that Game 7 would, let's see here, quickly looking. Okay, Game 7, if necessary, would be this coming Wednesday. So there may be some intervention on it, but right now with Washington leading the series 2-1, I mean, it's hard to say. That would require Houston to take Game 4 tonight in Washington, and then, well, have each team win once, both tomorrow and Tuesday back in Houston. So hard to say. It's I mean, that's what makes the World Series great, and the only thing that would make it better is if the Phillies were in it. But alas, they are not. So just so that way the Astros don't have gloating rights over the fact that we got Bryce Harper and they got a championship, I'm going to say go Astros on this one. It's just, selfish rooting interests and whatnot. But speaking of the World Series, the Fall Classic, they also caused SmackDown to be moved last night to FS1. So a little bit of shuffling around. Fox, although, will air a special 1-hour edition of SmackDown on Sunday, either before or after NFL football, depending on your area. So that's that'll be interesting. Little SmackDown lead into to the gridiron. Curious to see how that goes. Now, instead of the gridiron, there's also the the Octagon, which there was a little MMA action that involved the wrestling world last night as Jake Hager, new AEW signee. That's part of the reason why you haven't seen him wrestle a match yet, is he still has some contractual obligations with Bellator, some MMA fights, and one of them was last night where he fought Anthony Garrett to a no contest at Bellator 231 yesterday, or last night, and that was because, well, Hager had caught Garrett with two, at least I certainly hope, unintentional knees below the belt, and Garrett was unable to continue the fight. See, and that's what happens when you do go low. It shouldn't, well, all right, I could get into a whole diatribe about low blows and the slight recovery regarding them, but no, you get kneed down there, you're going down and staying down. That's kind of how that goes. Now, Hager did bloody Garrett's face during the brief fight, and AEW wrestlers Santana, Ortiz, and Sammy Guevara stood in the crowd and appeared on camera prior to the fight and were identified as members of the Inner Circle faction during the Paramount Network broadcast. So, hey, they're kicking it like Horseman style. They're traveling everywhere. They're supporting their own. It's a good thing to see. And another good thing to see, at least in terms of competition and things of that nature, well, New Japan Pro Wrestling, they held a conference on Monday to announce the formation of New Japan Pro Wrestling of America. Yeah, the company announcing a 3-phase plan. And no, it's not like the 3-phase plan in South Park where collecting something, ? Profit. No, this is Phase 1, discovering new wrestlers in markets outside Japan and developing talent through the LA Dojo. Phase 2 is running events in the United States, including at Madison Square Garden and Dallas this year, both independently and with the assistance of other promotions. And then Phase 3, establishing a company within the United States and being ingrained in the everyday fabric when it comes to fans' wrestling consciousness. Which, I mean, there's a lot going on. There's WWE, there's AEW, I mean, there's Impact, there's Ring of Honor, there's NWA. It's like a buffet, and you got to try to squeeze a little more room on the plate to fit something else in there. That's what's going on here. Now, NJPW's CEO Takami Obari stated that the plan is to run 2,000-seat venues with the hope of running roughly 25 shows in 2020, and noted that there would not be a reduction in the number of shows held in Japan. So that's interesting as well. You know, not taking from one to kind of support the other, at least not totally. He also stated that they intend to continue working with AXS TV, which is now owned by Anthem, the parent company of Impact Wrestling. The specific mentionings of Madison Square Garden and the Dallas, Texas areas, they were specifically mentioned as places that the company intends to run, and it was noted that they will do so both independently and with the help of other promotions, but they didn't actually mention Ring of Honor nor Impact in the press conference recap, so maybe they're keeping it open, maybe there's negotiations going on, hard to say. But the expansion plan, it's an interesting approach, and it appears that they intend to increase the number of U.S.-based talent while also sending some talent to the United States for these tours. Marketing will be interesting. Hopefully they'll be able to do that. You know, they are able to get away with simply announcing shows in some cities, but they'll need to do more promotion to draw in fans in other cities or when they return to certain cities, and that first-time thrill is no longer a thing. So that is... well, we shall certainly see. And one other bit of note, kind of bringing old to new again, since these are timeless classics here. AEW announcing Thursday that the Rock and Roll Express, Ricky Morton and Robert Gibson, they are going to be presenting the AEW tag team titles to the inaugural champions on this Wednesday's Dynamite television show. Pentagon Jr. and Rey Fenix, they'll be facing Frankie Kazarian and Scorpio Sky in the finals of the tournament to crown the first champions. And what can I say? I mean, they've been everywhere. You've recently seen them involved in AEW Power. I think we talked, or AEW Power, NWA Power, just to name it. Yeah, they're everywhere. I mean, they've been with Smoky Mountain. They've been with WWE for a little bit, WCW. I think they'd even had a little time in ECW. The Rock and Roll Express, it's amazing how they're still going, and they're, I think, pushing 60 at this point, and they're still in the ring wrestling. Crazy how that works. All right, we've got a little bit of time for this, thankfully, and it's good because there's quite a lot of them today. Holy smokes. There's 6 plus 4 Brucey bonuses, which means it's time for... Birthday! Ted, right on cue, because where the hell is everybody else? Well, no, I know where Lucas is. That's why I'm really I'm looking forward to the show ending here, just so that way I can quick hurry down there and try to catch him so I can boo him. I remember what you told now. All right, so we've got 6 plus 4 Brucey bonuses. Firstly, on this date in 1949, Michael McCord was born. The AWA competitor known for his 80s feud with Jerry the King Lawler and Current manager of NWA World Heavyweight Champion Nick Aldis, you probably know him better as the Universal Heartthrob Austin Idol. He turns 70 today. I don't know how many hearts he's throbbing at 70, but hey, if he is, more power to him. Also on this date in 1949, Kevin Francis Sullivan was born, the former ECW Tag Team Champion and longtime booker for WCW, as well as manager of B.J. Whitmer and Punishment Martinez a couple of years ago in Ring of Honor. Might know him as the Taskmaster Kevin Sullivan. He turned 70 today as well. I respect you, Booker Man. Yeah, love that Brian Pillman bit. Oh, man, that got him in some trouble back then. On this date in 1969, Robert Millay was born. The actor and former pro wrestler known for his time in the WWF from 1997 to 1999 as Kurgan of both the Truth Commission and the Oddities. He turns 50 today. And, well, he's also pretty much a big, muscular, heavy guy because he's 7 feet tall. So, yeah, when you're 7 feet tall, you can get a few acting gigs here as a muscle or a heavy or something like that. On this date in 1973, Takao Yoshida was born.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah, very easy for me to say. No, it isn't. But it was not easy for him to say. The former WWF the light heavyweight champion. See, it's contagious now. The former WWF light heavyweight champion, better known as Taka Michinoku, he turns 46 today. See, that's a name I'm more familiar with. See, the real names are a little difficult, especially when they're not of this country. On this date in 1977, Jonathan Joseph Heater was born. The actor and producer, best known as the title character Napoleon Dynamite. And he was a guest host of Monday Night Raw back in 2010, so that's where the celebrity wrestling crossover comes in. He turns 42 today. Yeah, wow. It's been that long since Napoleon Dynamite. Holy smokes. And finally, on the wrestling end, on this date in 1978, Philip Jack Brooks was born. This name might really sound familiar. The former 3-time WWE World Heavyweight Champion, 2-time WWE Champion, 2-time Money in the Bank winner, UFC competitor, and now actor known professionally as CM Punk. He turns 41 today. Yes, Lucas's hero. And he's not even here to... no good. All right, and then 4 Brucey bonuses, things outside of the world of wrestling. Firstly, on this date in 1946, this one's near and dear to my heart, Patrick Leonard Sajak was born. The television personality, weatherman, talk show host, and best known as the longtime host of the game show Wheel of Fortune. He turned 73 today. Yeah, granted, he's been doing this for 30, when did he take over for Woolery? 81, so that's 38 years now. He's this December it'll be 38 years that he's been hosting Wheel of Fortune. Where does the time go? On this date in 1947, no letters or complaints, please. This is merely facts. Hillary Diane Rodham was born. The politician and lawyer who was First Lady of the United States from 1993 to 2001, New York Senator from 2001 to 2009, and U.S. Secretary of State from 2009 to 13, and presidential candidate in the last election, best known as Hillary Clinton. She turned 72 today. That's all I got to say about that. They're all facts. No, where's the Merrill drop? All commentators heard express it. Yeah, I have no views on that. They're just all merely facts. No letters, please. On this date in 1967, I'm trying so hard to get out of trouble with this. On this date in 1967, Keith Lionel Urban was born.
Keith Urban.
Yeah, the chart-topping country music star with 22 different country #1 hits since 2000. He turns 52 today.
52?
52, yeah.
Pickup.
Yeah. Definitely could use a pickup at this point. And finally, on this date in 1973, Seth Woodbury MacFarlane was born. The Emmy Award-winning actor, filmmaker, animator, and voice actor, best known as the creator of the TV series Family Guy and American Dad, as well as the movies Ted and Ted 2. He turns 46 today.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, you figure Family Guy's been around for about 20 years now.
Some show where it was kind of like a takeoff of Star Trek or something on...
Oh.
Just on last year.
Now I'm trying to remember. I don't know.
Of course, I ask because he's running out of time.
Yeah, no. Your guess is as good as mine on that. I know he's done a lot of things. Maybe he did a Western movie, but Yeah, I forget all of the things for Seth MacFarlane. But that's going to do it for me. Ted's got the Country Roads up next, and he'll also be taking over for me in the 2 weeks that I'll be gone. So you'll have an extra hour of the Country Roads from noon to 6, both next Saturday and the following. And I will be back on November 16th. See you after vacation, and play us out, Nutsy.
1 o'clock and all's well.
Serving you better than ever before. This is 1490